Hey everyone, Super Mario Bros. Wonder has a really interesting main gimmick, that being the crazy amount of wondrous, unexpected things in the game. This is obviously highlighted by the brand new Wonder Flower power-up that will literally just make something weird happen, like make warp pipes start stretching up and down, or turn you into a slime. Cool. But even besides Wonder Flowers, there's just a lot of stuff you'd probably never think of, like these weird creeping galaxy rifts? What the hell? This also means there's likely to be a lot of things in the game you'd never discover on your own. For example, you know those skedaddler enemies that just run away from you and shoot seeds out of their mouths? Well, did you know that if you knock one of those seeds away with your elephant trunk, they will shoot progressively darker seeds faster and faster at you, until the fifth one, which is fully black and red, and knocking that one away nets you some coins. You can do this combo again afterwards with the same skedaddler, but then it only gives you 1 coin each time. They weirdly enough don't actually shoot 1 faster seed when you knock one away, but instead 3 faster seeds in a row, meaning you can knock one away, dodge the next 2, knock the third one away, dodge the next 2 again, and so on, which feels a little odd. Speaking of enemies, did you also know that they do a little greeting of sorts when they walk into one another? Goombas will head bonk each other, Koopas will butt bonk each other, and Out My Ways, yes that's what these guys are called, will do this happy little leg up pose together. Aww. Some enemies will even have a unique animation for walking into an enemy that's of a different species, like how Koopas will do a little arms up pose instead of a butt bonk when walking into anything that's not a fellow Koopa. This isn't always the case though, as Out My Ways, for example, will always do the same animation whether they walk into another Out My Way or not. Anyways, you get the picture. This game is filled with charm, and does naturally a lot of cool hidden details. So in this video I'm gonna cover a bunch of useless fun facts I discovered while playing the game, along with some submitted facts I got from you guys on Twitter and YouTube. The thing with the Skedaddler seed combo actually comes courtesy of Real Gnomestein on Twitter. Thanks fam. Here's a fun fact I found on my own though. Did you know that you can move your character's head on the world map with the control stick? Hey Luigi, do you like people that aren't subscribed to my channel on YouTube? Oh, well you don't want to disappoint Luigi, right? I guess he just really wants me to hit 300,000 subs. Okay, bad plug aside, the animation details in this game are truly impressive. This is actually the first Mario game ever that has an animation for enemies attacking you, meaning we finally know how Goombas harm you. In previous games, they would just walk into you without doing anything at all. This is even true in the most recent 3D entry, Mario Odyssey. I mean, yeah, they bash into you with a little bit more force, but that's still just kind of walking into you, you know? Mario Wonder, on the other hand, lets us know that they actually bite you when they walk into you. They even close their eyes with a little smile in celebration. Wow, that's adorable. Koopas apparently also bite you, I think? I mean, I don't really know what else they would do, but for some reason I never imagined it was biting you. Speaking of enemies, you've probably already noticed that they actually react to you getting near them, or jumping over them, and they even get completely shocked by you murdering their friends in cold blood right in front of them. Koopas also react to you getting near them by looking angry at you, but they don't react when you stomp on their friends in front of them, probably because they know they don't die from that since they just retreat into their shells. However, they do react when you actually kill their friends in front of them, with a fire flower for example. I love that they thought of that. Little things like that go a very long way for me. Not every enemy is as animated though. For example, Out My Ways don't really care at all when their friends die in front of them. Heartless bastards. There are more weird discrepancies like that between different enemies, by the way. For example, Goombas will get upset and angry at themselves when they get stuck in a 1-block gap, which is hilarious. But Koopas seemingly don't care and will just keep walking in place forever. I mean, you can just sit down, bro. Another cool enemy animation is that when you're a Goomba due to a Wonder effect, your character will actually panic just like a regular Goomba when you're in danger, aka when you're about to be eaten by a mama. And that's my cue to start talking about the playable characters, since they obviously also have cool animation details. This is actually the first 2D Mario game with a ledge teetering animation when you stand near an edge, and different characters with different body types obviously get unique animations, which is cool. But one thing that really confuses me about this is that there isn't a teetering animation for when you're facing away from the edge you're standing on. And normally something like that wouldn't bother me, but what makes it weird in this case is that characters do have a backwards teetering animation when in elephant form, as well as a different forwards teetering animation. Like, how do you go through the effort of giving those two different states different animations, and then not realize you should probably do the same for non-elephant form characters? Since the bubble and drill power-ups, the only other ones in the game, obviously just use the same animations as regular form characters. I'm definitely making this sound like a way bigger deal than it actually is, so let's just move on. Everywhere else in the game, the character animations are phenomenal. I love the running animations and the Mario Bros. Pipe enter and exit animations especially. Here's something interesting. You know the floating high jump badge that makes you jump higher and gives you that classic Luigi flutter kick animation from older games? Well, it's just Yuffie let me know that characters will even do a flutter kick animation like that out of a slide when they're still in the sitting pose. They even do this in elephant form, which just looks so stupid and weirdly adorable. I love it. Another cool submitted animation fact comes from RiceN64, who tells us that characters have a special scared animation for being pushed by a pipe or something because of another playing pushing it from the other side. And yeah, while this is obviously true, it's not actually exclusive to this specific scenario, as the same animation happens when a character gets pushed by anything really, like the sliding ice blocks in Out My Way Valley. Still a really cool detail. And for our last character animation fact, everyone has a ready stance when you're holding down the run button while standing still. You've probably already noticed that on your own while playing, but you may not have seen all of them, so here they all are, including the ones in everyone's elephant form, though those are all largely the same. Anyways, while the animations of this game obviously impress me a lot, they don't hold a candle to the amazing sound design details in my opinion. I mean, this is the game with the Piranha Plant singing stage. If this song doesn't get a remix in the next Smash Bros. Game, I'm gonna riot. That aside, wanna know what my single favorite detail in the entire game is? Well, technically it's not in the game actually, just hear me out. You know those note blocks that make a little tune whenever you walk or run over them? Well, you can actually still hear those beats if you play the game with the audio completely muted. How, you might ask? Well, the HD rumble in the Switch's controllers actually mimic the notes those blocks play, and thus make it sound like those specific notes are coming out of the controller, even though none of the Switch's official controllers have speakers on them. It's pretty hard to record, so the audio you're about to hear has been boosted significantly. Take a listen. That is such a cool detail, and it's actually not the only time it happens too. These boost panel conveyor belt things normally don't make anything resembling a song when you ride on them. But for some reason the HD rumble still makes the controller play a specific tune while on them. Take a listen. Pretty fire beat actually, if you ask me. Because I obviously didn't play the game with my audio turned off, I actually didn't notice this at all. So this fact comes courtesy of LuraFacts1, who's actually a Patreon supporter of the channel and told me about it there. So if you want first pickings at telling me about cool facts in the future, you know where to go. Wink wink. If you want to test this out for yourself, I recommend going into the settings and putting the rumble option on strong. It's definitely easier to hear that way. And hey, while we're in the settings, did you know that if you turn off the talking flower voices and then scroll to a different setting, the flower icon will actually reprimand you for it?
Oh, was it something I said?
Well, I guess reprimand maybe isn't the right word for it, but damn, that makes me feel bad. I don't get why you'd want to turn those flowers off anyways, they're super likable in my opinion. Speaking of those flowers, did you know that pretty much all of them have some additional dialogue if you just stay with any of them for a while? It can honestly take a long time for them to say any of them, but these are what I think are all of the extra pieces of dialogue that they can say, along with how long it took for them to actually say it in this recording.
What's the matter? You tired or something? Ooh, maybe it's time for a break. I'm not one to rush. Ooh, I'm tired. How about you? Am I allergic to me?
These talking flowers also normally don't have any special dialogue based on the character you're playing as, but they will actually yell out your character's name in a couple fast-paced stages, like those Wiggler races for example. Here's how they sound hyping up every character. Man, I love these guys. I'm also a big fan of how the developers hit some of them. For example, normally when playing the stage Bull Rush Coming Through, you activate a wonder effect that has a ton of bull rushes running through the stage, eventually breaking the normal exit, only to then be led to another exit with an extremely long flagpole. But if you fall down to the base of that giant flagpole, you can actually find a little pathway under it with a lonely talking flower that is extremely happy to see you.
Someone to talk to!
Shoutouts to MonkeyGamer1802 for letting me know about that one. Here's another cool thing the devs did with these flowers. In normal progression of the World 4 stage, Rolling Ball Hall, you'll fall down this hole with a wall to your left that you'll eventually pass in a short bit after activating a wonder effect that causes the stage to tilt, making you run away from a couple giant spiky boulders, including one that breaks that wall I mentioned earlier, letting you drop down the hole after it, continuing on with the level. After a while, you'll make it through a pipe that leads to a room with the wonder seat, and a single talking flower that just says bye-bye to you. Well, if you're in elephant form, you can actually break that wall prematurely with a nearby smaller boulder, by launching it into the wall with your trunk. This lets you fall down that hole that comes after, without having activated the wonder effect. And if you do that, the game will actually acknowledge the skip you just did with a talking flower to the left here that's really shocked by what you just did.
Huh?
And at the end, in the room that normally has the wonder seat, there will be 3 talking flowers that don't really seem too jazzed about you skipping that chase sequence.
How'd you even get in here? Oh, that ruins everything. You have to do things in a certain order.
And this is such a cool detail. I love it when games acknowledge you doing a skip, especially if they record entirely unique voice lines for it. Makes it really feel like the developers will know what'll be possible in their game. Shoutouts to Maddie Poco for letting me know about that one. I don't think I would have found this out on my own. Speaking of characters talking, not my proudest segue I know, the level Ninja Jump Party revolves around timing your jumps to the beat of the music to make platforms rise upwards, among other things you need to progress. For the first 3 successfully timed jumps you do in a given combo, any character you play as will actually count to 3 in full English. And when I say any character, I mean any character, even the ones you wouldn't expect to form actual words like the Yoshis and Nabbit. That's pretty weird, but a cool touch. Here's what everyone else sounds like counting to 3 in case you're curious.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Technically, the rhythm jump badge lets your character count to 3 in almost any stage. But that badge is garbage, and Ninja Jump Party is honestly my favorite stage in the entire game, so I really wanted to talk about it. That song is one hell of a banger. Speaking of music, back on my good segues again, one thing you probably noticed if you've played the game is that some parts of the background song in a level will get replaced with trumpets if you're in elephant form, such as in the first level's theme where it happens with the vocals.
That Goomba looks so serene.
But one thing that might be a little harder to notice is that the music also changes depending on if your character is moving or not. Namely, some instruments will disappear when standing still, making the song calmer. Take a listen to how the background drums in this song disappear when I stop moving, and reappear when I start moving again. It might be a little hard to notice, so I'll put a countdown on screen for when the changes happen. This means there's actually 4 versions of essentially all normal stage songs, which is really cool. Adaptive music is one of my favorite things ever in games, so I'm a big fan of it in this one. Now let's close out this video with a couple facts relating to one of the most unique badges in the game, the Invisibility badge, which, as you might expect, turns your character completely invisible, making platforming way harder of course. Alina Gray let me know that in the Boom Mansion stage that normally revolves around turning on green lights that reveal hidden platforms as well as defeat boos, has a special interaction with the Invisibility badge, namely that they will actually reveal your invisible character if you're standing in those lights, which is an insanely cool detail in my opinion. Like, it makes complete sense when you think about it. These lights reveal where invisible blocks are, so why wouldn't they also reveal invisible players? I love that they took the time to develop that functionality for this extremely rare gimmick. This badge also has some cool effects on the game's most controversial aspect, the boss fights. Normally, whenever you enter Bowser Jr.'s room, he talks a bit about how awesome his dad is and that he's gonna go beat you up, after which the fight starts, of course. But Enharmanic let me know that if you're wearing the Invisibility badge, he'll actually have some unique reactions. In his first fight, he'll say, "Huh? Who's there? Oh, you wanna play hide and seek, don't ya? Hee hee. Alright, I'll play with you. This palace is super mega loaded with Dad's wonder power. No way you're gonna beat me, but it's gonna be fun to see you try." His other 3 fights all normally have the same kind of generic dialogue before they start if he can see you, so I'll just show you what he says when you're invisible for all of them. Before his second fight, he'll say, I'm all snacked up, so it's time for a little nap. Huh? It feels like somebody's watching me. Probably that prince and his friend. They just never go away. Well, I'm not gonna let you bug Dad. Before his third fight, which takes place in water, he'll say, "What's going on? Where are those bubbles coming from?" Ah, it's just the prince and his friend again. Don't go pranking me like that. Anyways, Dad's big bad wonder is gonna be ready soon, and I can't wait, so I'm making sure you stay out of our way. And before his fourth and final fight, he'll say, "I feel like somebody's nearby. I wonder if it's a ghost. Ghosts don't scare me. Grumpy Dad is way scarier than silly little ghosts. Well, if you're a ghost, I'm still gonna beat you up." What's interesting about that last one is that when he says, "Ghosts don't scare me," he actually makes a scaredy noise that I believe isn't used anywhere else in the game. So even for such an easily missable Easter egg like this, they recorded specific lines, which is cool, but it could also be that this is just a reused line read from some other game that I can't think of right now. Anyways, for the final fact of this video, I'm actually gonna give a quick spoiler warning. And yes, I know, spoilers for a Mario game, haha, but it's related to the game's final boss. So if you don't want to see that, I recommend clicking off the video now, and if you do, I thank you for watching this far, and I hope you have a lovely rest of your day. There's your warning, 3, 2, 1. Okay, continuing on, the final stage normally starts with Bowser Jr. telling you some generic stuff about how he has front row seats to his dad's big show, and that he's gonna go show you how powerful he's become, before getting domed on the head by a giant fist. But if you're wearing the Invisibility badge, he'll say, "Huh? Why can't I see you?" Well, it doesn't matter where you hide, and then he just says basically the same thing as usual, before getting domed on the head again. Making it all the way to the actual final boss fight against Castle Bowser, he normally laughs and says, "Ahem. Thank you all for coming, sorry for the wait." And then he spouts some generic lines about how he's gonna school you with his sick beats. You know, standard final boss stuff. Well, you probably know where this is going, but if you got the Invisibility badge on during this scene, he'll instead open up by saying, "Gwahaha, did you really think that badge would fool me? I see you." And after that, he just says what he always says before starting the fight. But there's actually more to it this time. Luigi's sidekick let me know that if you're playing as specifically Peach, he'll instead say, "Ahem, thank you all for coming, especially you, my beloved," to which Peach actually has a unique response. They even made the "My Beloved" text box appear at the top of the screen instead of the bottom, so you could see Peach's reaction. Anyways, after that, he again just says what he always says before starting the fight. But there's one last thing I wanted to test, and that is, what happens if you're both invisible and playing as Peach? I was fully expecting him to only say the line about being invisible, but no, he actually first says the "Did you really think that badge would fool me" line, and then the "Thank you all for coming, especially you, my beloved" line, to which Peach again has a reaction. So this time you obviously can't see it, only hear it. I have no idea how he knows it's Peach though. Can he like smell her or something? That's kinda creepy, bro. Man, this game truly is wonderful. All the cool little details in it just put a smile on my face in a very unique way. But that's all the facts I had for today. Thanks again for watching, and to everyone who submitted facts, even if they weren't featured. If you enjoyed the video, I'd again really appreciate you hitting the subscribe button. Otherwise, Luigi really isn't going to be happy with you, considering I'm so close to 300,000 subs. It'd mean a lot to me. Or just leave a like and a comment, I'm sure he'd be okay with that too. Big shoutouts to the Flying Fire, Giant Firing Cole, The Game Deity, Sheen for the Win, Lime the Chef, Sil700, Right the Yoshi, Exobear, Quota School, Herc, LureFX1, and the rest of my amazing Patreon supporters. Thanks for watching it all the way to the end. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Goodbye.